What is a sexual experience you've had that you regret? Story 1. Was trying to bang this chick who was so sexy, but she wouldn't give me the time of day. She knew I was horny and wanted her. She said, "I'll give her my sister's number, she wants to fuck you." Never met her, so I didn't know how she knew me. She knew girls at a local hotel who could get us a room for free for a few hours. She told me to meet her sister at the hotel and go to room 118 and she would fuck me. I was 17 and horny, so I walked 2 miles to the hotel up to the room and saw her for the first time. She was a tad chubby but not horrible, but I was horny. She made me wear a condom. I got on top of her, stuck it in, and came within 2 mins. She looked at me like I was lame LOL and said, "Can you go again?" Disappointed and disgusted after I realized what I did, I told her no, I can't go again. Not that I couldn't. I already came and didn't want to fuck her again. I got my rocks off and could care less. The screwed up part was I immediately blurted out, "Take me home?" 'Cause she drove and I didn't yet. Which she did. Her sexy sister that I wanted to fuck would laugh and giggle every time she saw me afterwards. Story 2. Almost did the deed with a cousin. Cliché, I know. It was a small family gathering, nothing serious, just a get-together with family from out of town. There was a crazy amount of alcohol present, way too much for the number of people present, and was flowing pretty freely. I and this one cousin, angelic face, curves in all the right places, got talking. Some number of drinks later, we were feeling each other up. Thank goodness one of us snapped out it before anything regrettable happened. It gets pretty awkward between us during family gatherings, but we're starting to laugh it off now. Story 3. Most of my sexual fantasies weren't pleasant in real life, and I've had a wrong feeling afterwards, such as my experiences with a trans and a dude, Asian twink. However, the one I really regret is the threesome I missed with 2 hot chicks, my roommate and her BFF. But maybe that was for the best. I probably could have got STD or something from them had it happened. So I'm learning to control myself, and not every fantasy has to turn into reality. Staying focused on relationships and being healthy is more important than lust and short-term pleasure. Story 4. Years before my partner and I got serious, I was just trying to get around as much as possible. Being a somewhat popular local musician, partying a lot. Fun, freedom, and experience were top priorities. One night it was just an acquaintance and myself at closing time. She heavily suggested that if I walked her home, I'd get lucky. You might have a distant friend you find attractive, but just about not enough to pursue. I hesitated for a moment, but ultimately thought, "What are you thinking? This is what we do," and went for it. The chemistry was just not there. It's the only time I remember someone to taste like cigarettes in a bad way. I have dated smokers, and my partner and I often share a cigarette at the end of the day. I'm not fussy, but this was too much. Enthusiasm was tepid. I was too drunk, having trouble getting aroused. We had short, bad intercourse, and I left pretty soon after not coming, feeling regretful for perhaps the only time ever. Story 5. Let a neighbor in an open marriage blow me in the apartment laundry room after a situationship that got a little deeper than it should have ended. Her husband, and her boyfriend kept bugging me to play after often in front of their teenage daughter. I was happy to see them move out a few months later, although I may have been propositioned by the daughter and another neighbor at the pool about a year after. I didn't hang around long enough to really understand their intentions. It just all seemed like bad idea. Story 6. Making out with an ex-friend, because we both felt lonely at the time and later on discovering he was stalking and doing some easily illegal shit because he was obsessed with his ex. Every time I remember the makeout, I regret it. Not only because I discovered I'm demisexuac, but because I'm disgusted by the things he has done and scared of him. When he confessed to us and I blocked him from everywhere, he tried to manipulate a friend of mine to make me unblock him. Story 7. Broke up with a girl. It was mutual. Our time had just come to a close. But I missed her a lot. A bit later, weeks, I don't know, I'm at a party and I run into her sister. They really didn't get along at all. Basically, the sister hated her. I was drunk, she was drunk, she hit on me, and I just went through with it. The sex was dirty as hell, but the post-nut clarity of what have I done still sticks with me to this day. Story 8. The very first time I had sex was when I was 15, and the girl was about 18 or 19. It was all going swimmingly, if I do say so myself. I was mainly concentrating on lasting as being a 15-year-old lad. I had thought about this moment for quite some time, usually in the shower and often with this exact girl in mind. She's riding me, and I tell her that the moment may soon be upon us, so to speak, when she jumps off me and takes off the condom. She starts giving me head. It was literally the absolute pinnacle of teenage sexual fantasy, and I exclaimed again that the final act was indeed approaching. She moaned louder, although muffled, of course, and I proceeded to empty the contents of my marble pouch directly into her waiting mouth. In absolute ecstasy, I relaxed my whole body and felt her sweaty hair brushing across my pounding chest like some sort of sexy car wash. I think the first thought in my head at that point was probably that I was in love with this red-haired temptress, and I wanted to spend every waking moment for the rest of my life entwined between her milky, pale legs. Right then, her lips landed on mine, and a warm, salty goo entered my mouth as she parted her lips over mine. I immediately and instinctively spat it out and rolled over while gagging. I searched the bedside table for a drink and found half a can of cider to swill my mouth out. Once I had gathered my senses, I plucked up the courage to ask what she had done to me. "What did you do to me?" I said. "It's called a snowball. It's when you spit jizz into someone else's mouth." "Oh," I said, "I don't think I like that." She told me it was the first time she had done it, and one of her friends had told her about it a few days earlier. "I think I'd like to have sex with you again, many times, but maybe we could not do a snowball again?" She looked at me extremely deadpan and says, "If you go downstairs and get a cup, I'll spit into that then." All in all, it wasn't a bad night together, and we ended up seeing each other a few more times. But honestly, she always reminded me of the taste of my own seed, and I don't think I ever got over that. Story 9. I was drunk, and I met a girl in the club. After a few more drinks, we went to my house to do the thing. I was so drunk that I couldn't hold the thing up. She felt bad. She thought she wasn't good enough for me and that she couldn't turn me on. But I told her that wasn't the case. So I started giving her oral. A few moments later, I started throwing up on her pussy. I have never seen her since. Story 10. I was talking to this chick on Craigslist. After a while, we agreed to meet up so we could go on a date. She brings her 2 kids along and her best friend. I was about to leave, but she kept telling me that her friend was going to watch the kids while we fooled around. We get back to her place. The friend takes the kids outside to play. Right as I'm about to penetrate, her oldest son walks in and starts a full-blown convo. He wasn't fazed by the fact that a naked man was in his mother's bed trying to have sex with her. I got dressed and got the fuck out of there.